Back to the channel, everyone. This is part of a mini series I've decided to do, talking about everything, different compositions I use at weddings. I'll add a little bit of street photography in as well, once I start actually getting back out in the streets and getting some content, but it really will help wedding photographers, event photographers, how to use composition. And today's part mini series is the rule of thirds. So every image I'm going to show, it's been over the last few years, and I'll explain exactly what I was thinking when I took the photo, having that rule of thirds image in my head, but also remembering that most cameras now you can place the rule of thirds on the back of the screen and through the viewfinder, so use that to your advantage. So here we go, first picture. This is during the first dance at a wedding back in, God, it was years ago. It was in Lees Priory in Essex. So basically, this was shot on this is when I used to use zoom lenses, so 24-70. I think this is zoomed in at like 70mm, which I don't really do anymore. You know, I do most of my work on a 35mm, but you can still get nice layers using the rule of thirds with a telephoto lens. It's a bit harder because you need to step a lot further back, but this room was quite big and the couple were right the other side of the room. So I just see this gap. I just went down a little bit on my knees, you know, remembering when you're at a wedding, try and change up how high your camera is. Don't always shoot at eye level because your photos are boring. Like, you know, go low, go high, try different things, be creative. But as you can see here with the rule of thirds, I've got the couple in the left corner, and then the right corner, just there touching, is someone's hand, which I love. So visually, you know, as a human, your eyes naturally go to one of these points, and that's why we use the rule of thirds in photography. So I love about this photo, you know, everyone's different, but my eye naturally leads straight to this hand and then leads across there. So a sort of a leading line aspect as well. But the main thing is there, you've got one subject on that point, and then obviously the main subject, the bride and groom, which I love, in the top left corner. You can also use this point here and say, you know, that's bang on the bride's dress, which catches your eye, a bit of detail of that dress. But yeah, lovely photo. Obviously it helps with that little shard of light coming down, highlighting them up. I think that was like a DJ light or something. Very fortunate, you know, all the foreground was dark, moody. I had to raise the shadows a bit here, but yeah, all the thirds there done really well. Next photo. This is in a wedding in London. I think it was Chelsea Town Hall, I think. So the bride and groom just about to exit the room. I'll give a quick explanation of each photo, what was going on. I don't want to bore you too much, but just so you know what I was thinking at the time. So I'm literally just hanging around at the door here. This is with a 35mm, and I've spotted the bride's mum having a lovely moment with her dad here. So I knew that was my main subject to focus on, and I just waited for the bride and groom to start coming at me, basically. So the bride here, she's only like a metre, less than a metre away from me, until I had to get out the way because I was blocking her, you know, exit out of the door. But I just love, you know, she's not in focus, but the storytelling aspect of it. She's in the rule of thirds. You can see the dress, flowers. You can clearly see that's a bride, smiling, happy, but out of focus. And then we lead across to the most important person after the bride, in my opinion, the mum, that, you know, the mother of the bride, and having that lovely moment. You know, there's probably so many things going through her head at that moment. And it's a lovely moment for them to capture, to look at in the future. But again, 35mm, using the rule of thirds, you get that storytelling. You know, I could have, for example, used an 85mm in that exact same spot and zoomed in on her reaction, which would still be a lovely photo. So I'm not going to have a go at people using 85mm, but look at the difference when you have all of a sudden include all these other things going on. And you can only get that with candid documentary storytelling, and most of the time on a 35mm. Not all the time, but most of the time. So this one here, this is the bride getting off the bouncy castle, and the groom was helping her put her shoes back on. So I naturally went right in close because I could see the little boy in the background getting his shoe put on at the same time. So I thought it was quite a nice connection there, 2 shoes getting put on at the same time. Little boy, quite funny that a woman my age is getting her trainer back on, but she's the bride, so she shouldn't have to be doing that on her wedding day. The groom can be doing that for her. Yeah, quite a simple photo, but it shows again the rule of thirds. The point here, just a little bit tad off. I haven't cropped this photo at all, so if I cropped it a little bit more, maybe it would have been better. The rule that the left corner of the rule of thirds would have been bang on the shoe. Yeah, and I'll do that in this series. I'll show photos and I'll be honest and say I could have done it a bit better. I'd rather do that. I don't want to be sitting here preaching saying everything's perfect, because I'm always learning, and that's the whole point. You watching this channel, you want to be learning every year. You can always get better. Don't ever think you're the dog's bollocks. You can always get better.